Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so this is maybe part 3 or 4 of my tutorial series, and when we were last playing, we went through all of Orcish Mines up to D15, and I think we got the first rune, so the Swamp Rune. And this video will be quite short in comparison to that one, because I want to make this a bit more segmented. Hopefully the tutorial will be a little bit more, you could select which area you need help in, and I guess that would be more appropriate. So yeah, I haven't really decided on the average length of these videos, but there we go. So I'm about to head out into the spider nest. This is the second rune that usually most players would get. It's either the swamp or the spider. Remember, this game, because it's spider's nest, I didn't get snake, so I won't be discussing it this time. I will, however, if I do make another tutorial series, make sure that I get the other two branches so I cover them. I'll have to restart even if I have to. Okay, so let's talk about spider before we enter, I guess. So spider is an area full of, as you would think, spiders. It has a lot of high damage, fast, poisonous enemies with low health and fairly high evade. So that is the theme of the enemies in there. Now, out of all of them, I think that the most dangerous couple are Emperor Scorpions, which are really tanky, high damage enemies that are about 10 speed, so they're the same speed as you are. You have for mages specifically, Ghost Moths, which can go invisible and which are permanently invisible, and they can drain your mana if they're in your line of sight. So you have to be really careful with the way you manage your mana. There's also this thing called the Jumping Spider, and the reason why the Jumping Spider is so scary, I guess, is because it nets you whenever it lands a successful attack, and netting you will make you pretty much paralyzed for the next couple of turns, and that's pretty dangerous when you're surrounded by enemies. There's also Orb Destructions, Orbs, I don't know, Orb Weavers, I think they're called. And those guys fire orbs of destruction at you, which is a really high level conjuration spell, but I will discuss that more when I get there. Okay. So, yeah, there's a couple of interesting enemies in here. So for example, this is a wolf spider, that's pretty high damage. These are regular spiders, and this is a tarantella, which confuses you on attack, as it has now. I'm gonna pull upstairs, and I'm gonna try to get into a good position even while confused. I'm gonna cast regen, and I'm just gonna fight. Alright, good. So I have poison resistance, which kind of cuts down on the danger of this branch, but it's still a very scary area nonetheless. In fact, I'm gonna put clarity on as well, just so that the tarantellas don't confuse me when I don't want them to. Well, which is never. Okay. So I think those green spiders are jumping spiders. Yeah, they used to have a different tile back in the day, so I have a lot of difficulty spotting them. I rarely remember that I'm being webbed until it's too late. Okay, so that purplish round spider that I saw earlier is an orb spider, I think they're called. Yeah. So what they do is, as you can see here, they begin to weave its thread into a brightly glowing ball. That means that they're going to shoot an orb of destruction every couple of turns. The best way to deal with them is to get them in melee and just kill them before they have the chance to shoot at you. The way orb of destruction works is it takes a couple of turns to ramp up in damage, and once it does, it can do well up to about 50 to 60 damage, so it's not a very good idea. So for example, this orb right here has had about maybe one turn in existence. So once it hits me, I'm going to let it hit me. Okay, it does about 16 damage. So even at point blank range, it did some damage. So if you consider how much it ramps, this is pretty scary. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna treat this almost like a centaur. I'm gonna pull around the corner, and I'm just gonna wait for it to come into line of sight. Every time it's about to fire off an orb, I'm gonna back off. Okay, so I charged the spider, and the orb hit me weakly. It did about maybe 12 damage. So yeah, very very manageable for any character really. Spiders are very squishy, so I kind of want to just tab through them. I'm Oh, I need to go back to my battle axe of chopping. I didn't change it since we went to swamp, but it's alright. Trog's gonna give me another battle axe, and again, I'm gonna ignore it because I know for a fact that whatever I have in my inventory is better, and there's no reason to, try to like consider too many options. This game can be beaten with just, good tactics and like mediocre weaponry and armor. So again, I'm not looking for anything special. I'm not looking for like that crazy electricity or freezing or what have you. I'm not looking to have a weapon for every occasion. Like my one's fine. I don't need to change it. So that's pretty important. Okay. So orbs, it's a bit spoilerish the way that orbs work, but they basically have this tilt axis, I guess you can call it. They travel in a straight line, but they tilt towards you, kind of, and their tilt speed is very slow. So that the chance of you dodging it is fairly high if you move backwards, back and diagonally. However, moving forward diagonally, apparently in the code, there's a special case where it hits you if you move diagonally. So say for example, this berserk potion was an orb of destruction heading towards me. If I were to move here or here in that turn, it would automatically hit me. Don't ask me how I know that. I just read it somewhere, and I read it off one of the people who regularly, codes. So, they probably are a reputable source. Hopefully, I'm not making a mistake in backing them, but I have some faith in them. Alright, so this Ring of Royalty is just a straight upgrade off my Protection of Fire. There's no real reason to, have the fire now that I have the artifact one. It gives me a little bit of MR. That's pretty good. So, yeah. Alright, so Francis is an enemy who can summon demons, about tier 3 or tier 2 demons, which are pretty strong. She can use Iron Shot, which is pretty scary, and she can use Haste on herself. So I'm going to use Trog's Hand as usual. I realize this is a fairly dangerous fight, so I'm going to summon a Brother-in-Arms. And I'm going to just pull back a little bit and let Francis try to engage both me and my Brother-in-Arm at the same time. So yeah, you can clearly see the damage is just incredible when I have myself and a Berserk ally attacking the same target. It's a very dangerous combination. So the orb kind of tilted around there. It like spun around me, and that's kind of how orbs work. They seem unpredictable at first, but after a while you kind of get the gist of dodging about like 80% of them without really having to think too hard about the code or too hard about like the exact directional movement that you need to make to avoid this specific turn. Like it's just another missile, and I guess you can. The only thing that's good about this is that you can dodge it, and that means that positioning is again really important. So these two orbs are probably going. These two spiders are about to hit me. Probably they're going to toss one out soon. There we go. This is an interesting concept where you can actually stand behind your enemies, and the orbs of destruction just hit them. So, bam, the orb just hit the jumping spider and killed it. I'm going to move sideways so that the wall is now blocking the orb. So there I just like pretty much took no damage from 2 full orbs. I'm going to move back again. So the orb could have probably moved here or here, and it ended up hitting there. So again, it's pretty intuitive, I guess. I don't have a specific knowledge of how to dodge them, but using a little bit of like, awareness, I'm able to kind of know when the attacks are going to hit and when they aren't. I rarely do get hit by by Orbs of Destruction. Okay, so that is an Emperor Scorpion, as I said earlier. They're really a fairly dangerous enemy because they're so tanky. So because they're tanky, I can think of this fight as a long drawn out one. I'm going to use Trog's Hand because that's regeneration and that's long term. So as you can see, I'm taking damage, but he's also taking damage, and I'm healing some back because of my use of Trog's Hand. And at the end of the fight, I ended up with almost full health, and that's fine. That's good. That means that there's even at the worst rolls possible, I wouldn't have died. So yeah, that's a pretty good thing. All right, so again, this ball is right next to me. I'm gonna move right, hoping that the ball skims past me. It could have hit me, but I don't think it would have. Okay, good. Yeah, I guess talking about the Orbs of Destruction have made me a bit more aware of how I'm going to dodge them. I normally just charge them down, but yeah, it's a good thing, I guess. One thing that's important to note is that these dodging things only matter if you have no way to run away. The best possible course of action is to get an Orb of Destruction into like some kind of kill hole, because then their orbs will do nothing to you. Okay, so Jorgrun. This is a dwarven earth mage, and his main scary thing is the fact that he can cast Shatter on you. And he can also petrify you, but I've preemptively Trog's handed, so he can't actually do that much. I'm going to also throw the Vial of Floods at him. I don't have a lot of Evo, so it's not going to be too effective, but, you know, might as well, right? Alright, and that was an easy kill. So Jorgrun is sometimes dangerous. He's dangerous in cases where he gets you on Petrify, or when you're not flying, or when you're standing near a wall. I guess to really know how dangerous he is, you need to know how good Shatter is. So, yeah, and it's not very easy to show you how Shatter works on a Berserker. I guess it could pick up a Stone of Tremors, but you know, at the end of the day, Shatter's a good spell. It does a lot of damage. It's only resistible by armor, I believe. Of which, so Jorgrun is pretty much the guys that he kills, I guess, are low MR squishy targets. Say for example, I guess maybe like a human enchanter or a human hunter. He accidentally petrifies you, and you decide not to teleport away immediately, and he can just shatter you for like 5 turns in a row and you die. It feels cheap, but at the end of the day, you know, you picked a certain class, a certain build, and you decided to fight. So Norris, at this point in time, usually isn't a threat. The main thing that is interesting about him is that he has smiting and invisibility. His confusion and paralysis, again, my Trog's hand is just completely nullifying any ability for them to do that. So, yeah, he's a fairly easy kill this time. I don't think he's a really good source of... I don't think he kills a lot of people. At the point where you do fight him, you should be able to take him out pretty easily. If not, maybe with a bit of difficulty, but at the end of the day, you will be able to kill him 1v1. I don't think he has enough good stuff to just... Okay, so... it says here I'm being watched by something. That means that there's a ghost moth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself into a corner, and I'm just going to swing with control in the direction that I think he is. So I don't know where he is. Okay, he's definitely in that direction now. So I'm fighting, even though invisible. And I'm worried because I'm about to go brainless, but there we go. I got him. Okay, so I'm at 1 int. That's kind of scary, but you know, at the end of the day, they remove stat death, which is nice. There's an Emperor Scorpion here. I'm just going to show you what the Phantom Mirror does. It summons a replica of them. More evocations will increase the duration, but you know, it's not a big deal. So that time the fight actually took a little bit more of my health out, and that was because I didn't use the regeneration. So, you know, it makes a difference. Regeneration is actually very undervalued, I guess. Hey, look at that! I dodged the orb. Most people will just not use it. I guess they'll use it, but like not in a time where it counts. You usually want to use regeneration early in the fight because it means that you're healing as much as possible from the fight. So the second you take damage, you're already healing it back. Arachne, she is the like unique boss to Spider. She comes with Poison Arrow and Ensnare, which puts you in one of these webs. And again, webbing is kind of like paralysis, so I don't want to do that, I guess. I'm going to shoot my Vial of Floods at her, and I'm just going to summon a Brother in Arms, and we're going to fight. And hopefully we'll be able to kill her without any problems. Yep, she goes down. Good. So, this is Spider 4, so there's going to be some crazy rune vault. What are these gloves? +2? I'll take them. So let's magic... I shouldn't magic mapping. I might as well. Let's magic mapping just to show you. So you can see this big star looking thing is the rune vault. It makes sense. This doesn't look like a rune vault. This does. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just, you know, auto exclude, so prevent me from auto exploring into this location. And what that should let me do is it lets me explore the rest of the level safely without having to accidentally walk into the into the rune vault. And the reason why I want to do that is because my teleports will be more safe if I am able to what do you call it? If I can explore the rest of the floor, my teleports will be more safe because I have a much higher chance of surviving a teleport. Like I won't teleport into like some area that hasn't been cleared yet. There might be a boss there, a unique there. There might be a whole bunch of enemies. I want to avoid that as much as possible. So yeah, clearing out this whole floor. So imagine fighting all these enemies at like 2 HP when you've teleported away. It doesn't sound very pleasant, and it could mean another teleport or even death. So again, I'm not gonna risk that. I'm gonna explore all of this area. So now when I teleport, I have a really good chance of landing in any of these cleared spots, and there won't be too many enemies there. Maybe one or two, because they respawn, but other than that, not so much. So now that I've cleared everything except the rune wall, I'm gonna start heading into it. I'm gonna treat it a little bit more carefully than last time because, last time I was paying a little bit less attention, to be completely honest. I wasn't at the top of my game, I guess. So the rune vaults in Spider are mostly just jam-packed full of enemies. So I'm gonna back off fairly quickly, just so that I can get into a better position. I'm gonna use my wand of digging to make myself a bit of a corridor for which to run through. Enemies can only attack me one at a time now. Notice that the Orb Spider that I just fought was sandwiched between an enemy, so it couldn't kite backwards, and it was in melee with me, so it was gonna die. I knew that, so I just rushed it. This Scorpion, this Emperor Scorpion is doing a lot of damage to me. I'm gonna use Trog's Hand again. The Orbs of Destruction are wailing on me, so I'm gonna create this kill hole looking shape. So the kill hole is a kind of a bend in the map. It restricts vision to just one tile, so it's very strong against enemies that have ranged attacks, and it's also strong against enemies that have smiting and summoning. So that is the specific point of that. I'm going to be abusing this a little bit. Every time I see a lot of enemies, I'm going to back out, and I'm going to go into the kill hole. I'm going to go into the corridor first so that I have a place to retreat, and then once an enemy with like an Orb Spider comes into view, I'm going to walk into the kill hole. So that's how you, I guess, use your digging and disintegration to kind of form the land to your advantage. So here I'm backing off into the corridor, and then I can pull back, and if anything goes wrong, I can just turn this corner, and suddenly I only have to fight one enemy at a time, and there is plenty of space to walk backwards. So again, I'm gonna fight all this guy, this trapdoor spider, and then look, oh wow, I've got all these enemies that are range. So I'm gonna pull back like this, and now suddenly they can't shoot at me and they can't do anything. They're pretty much effectively useless. I may have said something twice there. Okay, so the one time where I suggest maybe not doing this, okay, I made a silly mistake here. There is a Ghost Moth and an Emperor Scorpion chasing me, and I need to kind of back off a little bit. Okay, so anyway, the one time I suggest against this is probably in Zot. And the reason why is because the enemies in Zot are probably going to come at you at a pace that, even with the kill hole, you'll just be surrounded. You'll be, I guess, forced to fight all of them until you die. Like, imagine sitting here, and then just wave after wave of, like, ridiculously powerful enemy just walks in and just fights you. You'll end up running out of resources and maybe even die. So, yeah. I guess you could kill hole, but it's a bit dangerous. So I'm poisoned. I'm gonna use curing to get myself out of this, and I'm gonna accidentally kill the Ghost Moth that I was gonna lead backwards. Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna keep going, keep pushing on. So most of the enemies in this place have been emptied, I guess. So it's fairly safe to start exploring a bit more liberally. I'm gonna use my brother in arms just because there's a lot of enemies there, and I didn't want to take too much damage and potentially, have to do a teleport. Because no matter how good teleports are, there's always that little minute chance that it just puts you in range of an enemy that can kill you. So, while you can rely just purely on teleport for escaping, it's a little bit dangerous sometimes, and you have to be aware of that. Zot 5, Vaults 5, those two are the best possible places to explain that, to show that. Teleporting in Zot 5 could land you right in the middle of 3 Ancient Liches and an Orb of Fire, you will die in maybe 2 turns. It won't be fun for anyone. So yeah, that's so just be careful of how you teleport. Pretty much, be careful of when to teleport. Don't use it as like your only escape option because it might get you killed. Okay, so that's Spider done. I know this was a short video, but you know I wanted to have a bit more separated stuff. So hopefully I can have more ideas as I create more, and you guys can pick it up. You can pick up individual like branches. So say you're struggling with Spider, you could just come in and you would pick up the Spider episode, and you would just watch that and see if there's anything like you can learn from it. Especially if this is your first time playing and seeing these areas, I think this would be a pretty good resource because I'm going to cover a little bit more of the enemies and I guess how to tackle the area. So yeah, let's recap. I guess Spider, you don't want to get swarmed. You don't want to get too bad. You don't want to get poisoned. Stacks on you. Orbs of Destruction. Orb Spiders require a lot of positioning, and you need to be prepared to fight all the tougher enemies in Spider 4. I think that Spider 4's Vault is actually fairly tough for most characters. The only one that I think is tougher is probably Shoals 4. Snake 4 is okay most of the time. It's a little bit dangerous if you try to take on a lot of them, but usually they're not as dangerous individually as regular spiders are. 2 Nagas are a lot less dangerous than maybe 3 or 4 spiders. And 3 or 4 spiders is a lot more common because they can just leap at you and overwhelm you quite quickly. So anyway, that's all for this video. I'll see you next time. We'll be doing the vaults.